Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday.
Evening.
How are you?
Fine.
Nice. I hope you didn't get wet with the rain today. It's been raining all afternoon, so I hope you didn't get wet.
¿Cómo se dice tormenta eléctrica?
Electric storm.
Ah,
Electric storm. Oh yeah, it's been crazy. I saw some teachers, they were saying from other modules that they were having problems. So hopefully we don't have any and we can complete the class as usual. All right, so let me check. What are your plans for the weekend? We are literally about to start the weekend. Do you have any plans?
yes.
What are you gonna do, Carla?
I have two parties.
Oh my God, not one, two parties.
Parties.
What? That's a busy life.
Yes.
That's really cool. Are those like birthday parties or
Yes.
wedding?
One birthday party. ¿Cómo se llama la niña?
Again?
Children.
Oh, a
De una
kids
niña.
party.
Children
Kids party.
party. En, ¿y cómo se dice? Bride party? No.
A bridal shower, como despedida
Ajá.
de
Bride.
soltera.
Ajá. Bride shower.
Bridal shower. Oh, those are wild. I don't have many friends that get married, so I have never gone to one. One day I hope I go to one. All right, let's see the others. Hi Jose, hi Juan Carlos, hi Juan Jose, hi Abigail, how are you? Hi Mayra, hi Jorge, hi Mauricio. Let's see, Mauricio says, problema de internet. Okay, all right, understandable, Mauricio. All right, what about the others? Do you guys have plans for the weekend? We just listened that Carla is going to go to two different parties this weekend. That's a busy life. Hi, Mayra. All right. So, guys, we got a couple of topics to see for tonight. So, we're going to start with a direct to the topic, right? So, yesterday we were talking about present progressive. We were reviewing the present progressive at the beginning of the class. So, let me ask you, what scenarios did we see yesterday? Do you remember? Do you remember what scenarios we saw yesterday for present progressive?
And when we use the when is before or after,
Mm-hmm.
and we can use to when, for example, is temporary time.
Exactly, for temporary situations, correct? Exactly, right? So we can use present progressive not only for things happening in the moment, right? Like we are having a class. That's good, but it's basic. We can also use it to speak about future, right? Before or after things happen, and for temporary situations. It's the exact same structure, right? So that was yesterday we were seeing present progressive. So tonight we're gonna check past progressive, okay? Which is basically the other version, right? So I'm just gonna share the screen with you guys. Bear with me for a moment. Just bear with me. Okay, there we are. So we're gonna check the formula. Okay, first and foremost, the formula. Remember, if we're talking in present progressive, it's just the subject, the verb to be, and the verb in progressive, right? I am working, she's dancing, we are studying, right? And then you can add words depending on the scenario, right? For example, I am playing soccer on Sunday. That part on Sunday makes it future. Even though I'm speaking with present progressive, I'm speaking about future, right? I am playing soccer on Sunday, right? Or I can say, we are learning English until September 13th, right? Temporary. Same scenario, present. And this is the part that I want you to remember. For present progressive, the subject, verb to be, am, is, are, depending on the subject, and the verb in progressive, right? So for the past progressive or past continuous, right? I just find it easier to say past progressive, but it's the same as continuous, right? It's the same scenario. You're going to use subject, verb to be, but this case is in past. Verb to be in past tense, and then a verb in progressive, okay? For example, it can be any subject, and remember that the verb to be in the simple past only has two versions. In present, it has am, is, are. But in past, it only has two, was and were. Is the verb to be in past, right? Was and were. So when you want to speak in past progressive, your formula is going to be subject, was, or were, depending on the subject, and the verb in progressive, right? While I was studying, my friends were playing. Was is for singulars, were is for plurals, right? And second person, you, okay? So while I, singular, was studying, my friends, plural, were jogging, were playing, right? And then keep in mind that you must conjugate the verb to be to match the subject, which is exactly what I was telling you, right? But in my own words. The verb to be, was, or were will depend on the subject, right? I was watching a movie before the class. We were practicing English yesterday, right? So I was, we were. So depending on the subject, you have to adapt it, right? So it's the exact same formula, but the verb to be will be in past. The rest of it remains in progressive, right? And that's how you do it. And you have, for example, she was working on an email when the fire alarm rang. The team was playing well until the second half, okay? And then same scenario, right? You will know you, second person and plural, you use were. And for first person, I, and third person, he, she, it, was, okay? So we have, before we see the scenarios, past progressive, we can also use it in different scenarios, not only for things that were happening at some point in the past. There are different contexts and scenarios where you can use this thing, same scenario for different things, same grammar for different scenarios. But before we do the scenarios, we're gonna check the verbs that you cannot use in past continuous tense. This is a list of verbs, very specific list of verbs that you cannot use in past continuous, okay? So I'm going to need someone to read, please. I need one person to read this part. Volunteers? Do we have volunteers to read? Okay, Jose, go ahead.
Verbs we cannot use the past continuous tense. As we explained in our grammar guide, there is a certain type of verb that cannot be used in any continuous tense, including the past continuous tense. These are called stative verbs, also known as states of being verbs or fittingly
Fittingly.
fittingly non-continuing verbs.
And the rest.
Stative verbs are less like action and more like a stage of feeling. They describe continual state of mind, such as opinion, need, or awareness. Some of the most common examples of state verbs include live, like, take, improve, like, love, need, prefer, realize, understand, want.
And let's read the final part, please.
Because stated verbs are in, inherently
Inherently.
continuous. It's on all them in tense. Avoid using about words in the past continuous. You can use them in the simple past instead.
Read the examples, please. Jose.
Correct. I was understanding math class until we started action. Permítame quitarlo.
Mhm.
Okay. The correct way. I understood math class until we started fraction.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. This is the rule that is very important when you're going to speak in past continuous. You cannot use every single verb in progressive in past continuous. These verbs in this list are some of the more common ones that you cannot use them in progressive. Because usually these verbs, we call them stative verbs because they are like showing your status, okay? Or they are showing feelings or how you are, right? Because of that, they are not like, yes, they are action, they are verbs, but they are not like motion. No son verbos de movimiento, all right? So they are not motion verbs because they are more like to express your state or your feeling, right? Or your state of mind or your opinions or needs. So in that sense, these verbs cannot be used in progressive, right? You should not use them in progressive. Um, we were eating last night. We were dancing with her. Correct. That's good. Those are motion verbs. But this one, for example, I was believing you, but then you said something that was wrong. It's not correct. When I am using one of these verbs, I have to use it in simple past, not in past progressive. For example, I was believing you until you made a mistake. I can only say I believe you until you made a mistake, right? I was disliking the soup. I disliked the soup, right? I was hating the weather until it changed. Not possible. I hated the weather until it changed, right? I was loving the salad in the lunchtime. Not possible. I love the salad in the lunchtime, right? And this is very important that you memorize them, okay? You gotta memorize these verbs. Wait a minute, Maurice. It's important that you memorize these verbs because in regular grammar, in real life grammar, you should not be combining them in progressive, okay? Any other verb, you can use it, okay? But if it's a verb that is like expressing a state of mind, most likely you are not gonna be using it in progressive, okay? Now, careful, you will see some people that use them in progressive. That doesn't mean that it's correct. Right? The rule tells you you should not be using these verbs in progressive. Any other verb, yes. We were drinking, he was running, etc. Right? Motion verbs, all of them, you can use them in progressive. So now that we know that part, mhm, now that we know that part, we are going to check the 5 scenarios or the 5 uses of the past progressive, okay? It's like yesterday, right? Present progressive to speak about things happening in the moment. You can use present progressive to speak about temporary situations. You can use present progressive to speak about future. You can use present progressive for things that are gonna happen after an event, right? So in that scenario, you have the same grammar, present progressive, for different uses, different scenarios. Today we're going to check the same, but for past progressive version, okay? What are the 5 scenarios where you can use past progressive? And we have the first one, okay? The first one says, okay, we're gonna need volunteers. We have 5 scenarios, so each person is going to read one scenario and the example. We need 5 volunteers to read. Each person is going to read the scenario and the example, the scenario and the example. Okay, we need 5 volunteers. Raise your hand, please. Carlita, help us with the first one, please. We need 4 more volunteers. Raise your hand if you want to participate to read. We need 4 more volunteers. Emerson, please help us with the scenario number 2 and example. We need 3 more people for the other scenarios. You are only going to read them. We need 3 more volunteers. Raise your hand, please. Jorge, thank you. Help us with the scenario number 3 and example. And we need 2 more people, 1 for scenario 4 and 1 for scenario 5. Let's see, we're going to ask here. Is it possible, Juan Carlos, that you help us with number 4? Reading scenario number 4? Thank you. Thank you. And then let's see. Jonathan, do you think you can help us with scenario number 5? Reading a scenario number 5? Are you able to read, Jonathan?
Yes, miss.
All right, help us with number 5 when we get there, please. All right, let's begin with scenario number 1. Carla, please.
Okay. An action in the past that gets
Interrupted. Mhm.
One of the most common use of the past continuous tense shows a past action that was interrupted by another past action. These are often complex sentences featuring subordinating conjunction like when, why, before, after, until, or whenever. Pop the action that was interrupted in the past continuous tense and the action that interrupts it in the simple past. Past continuous tense examples. Martha was leaving her apartment when she heard the thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm.
They were sleeping peacefully until the alarm rang. And my parents arrived.
While I was
My
shopping.
parents arrived while I was shopping.
Yes, correct. So scenario number 1, where you can use past progressive, right? An action that gets interrupted. Usually, when you are going to make this type of sentences with past progressive, you will use one of these words. These words, we call them subordinating conjunctions. These words, when, while, before, after, they are connectors, and we call them subordinating conjunctions. It's the same, okay? So these words, when you're talking about something in the past, you're telling a story, you're talking about an action, and the action suddenly got interrupted, you can use past progressive with one of these conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, right? And we have the examples here. Marta was leaving her apartment, subordinating conjunction, when she heard the thunderstorm, right? Martha was leaving the apartment when she heard the thunderstorm. So in this scenario specifically, when you're talking about an action that was happening and got interrupted, you use past progressive, okay? They were sleeping peacefully until, subordinating conjunction, right? Until the alarm rang, okay? They were sleeping peacefully until the alarm rang, okay? This action was happening, was interrupted by this one, okay? The subordinating conjunctions, they basically, they express that there was a point of break and then something else happened, right? My parents arrived while I was shopping, okay? My parents arrived is the first part. While is the break. In this case, at the same time. While is at the same time that I was shopping, right? Simple present, sorry, simple past, and then past regressive, right? So you can do that type of combination. Here's what we're going to do. Before we continue reading number 2, number 3, number 4, we're going to make a sentence. Let's make 2 sentences using past regressive to express an action that got interrupted in the past, okay? This is gonna be individual. Before we continue reading, we're going to make 2 sentences using this scenario. Action in the past that gets interrupted. And you can use any of these conjunctions, right? And you can use these examples as reference. Every person has to make 2 sentences in this scenario, please. This is individual, 2 sentences. Make sure that you write them down, please.
So it could be, I was eating my dinner before it started to rain.
Before it started to rain, yes. That one is correct. Let me know when you have your sentences ready. It's only 2 sentences. Mauricio says, I was eating while my parents came into my house. Okay, that's good. Jonathan says, I was taking my dinner before you came. Yes, that's right. That's good. Let's see. And then Mauricio has the second sentence and it says, I was, wait, I didn't say it. Mauricio says, when I was running, there was a car accident. Okay. Mauricio, I'm reading your sentences because I know you cannot speak because of your internet problem. Juan Carlos, if you can help us reading your sentences, please. If you don't have any
Okay.
problem.
What's the
The ones that you have there in the chat, please.
okay. we were playing the guitar when my wife arrived. I was taking my dinner before it started to rain.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. And then we have another message here. Jose Romero, can you help us reading yours, please?
We were playing the guitar when my wife arrived. I was taking my dinner before it started to rain. Tengo que
Perfect.
corregir, que se me fue la G.
Yeah, el progressive. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Those sentences are really good, guys. Let's see who else is pending. Who else has their sentences ready? Mayra, can you read your sentences, please? Do you have your sentences ready, Mayra? Okay, I see one from Carla says, I was washing the clothes until, okay, until rain. You can say, for example, until it started to rain. Until it started to rain. Yeah, it has to go with another verb. Yeah, because it's like this action was happening until this other action happened, right? So it has to go with a verb, the same. Both sentences need to have a verb. Okay. And all right, Jorge, do you have your sentences ready? What about you, Emerson? Do you have your sentences ready?
Yes, miss. Yeah.
And let me hear them, please.
Okay. The first one, Maria was listening to music and when her mothers come to visit her.
All right, that's good. Yes, that's good. The next one?
I was ready writing the report when my boss told me about the conference.
All right, good. So yeah, guys, that's exactly what you're gonna make. And when you're talking about something that it was happening and then got interrupted, it's like subject, action in progressive, and subject, sorry, past progressive, and then another sentence with another subject and another verb, right? Because they are separate. Like this action happened, this was happening before this happened, or vice versa. This action happened, and then this was happening, right? Whichever combination, but you need to have verbs in both on both sides of the sentence. Let's go with a scenario with scenario number 2. Scenario number 2, who was about to read? Was it you, Emerson?
Yeah, miss.
Okay.
The number 2, ongoing action at the specific time. When you mention an abstract time in the past, use the past continuous tense if the action starts before the time and continued afterward. If the action begins at the time mentioned, use the sample past instant. Past continuous tense example. At midnight, everyone at the party was still having fun. I was working as the cashier in October. By the age of 9, I was training to be a ninja.
All right. So this is similar to what we saw in present progressive yesterday. To speak about situations that are happening temporarily, we can use past progressive to speak about situations that were happening temporarily at a specific time in past, right? So it says when you mention an exact time, right, you can use this combination, past progressive. If the action begins at the time mentioned, then you use simple past. For example, and it says, right, at midnight, everyone at the party was still having fun, okay? I was working as a cashier in October. That means that I was only working as a cashier in that month, right? It was a temporary action. It was happening for a period of time, the specific time, right? I was working as a cashier in October. It doesn't mean that I used to work as a cashier for years. No, I only did it in October, right? That's what it means. And then by the age of 9, I was training to be a ninja, right? So it tells you, you can use past continuous tense if the action started before the time that you're going to mention, right? And then in continued after time, right? And then if the action begins at the time, you use simple, either or, right? So we can basically, what we're saying here basically is past progressive to speak about temporary situations that were happening in the past, right? For example, I was learning to swim last December. I was learning to swim last December, right? Meaning that it was happening. We don't know if I did it or not, if I learned or not, if I completed it, we don't know that, but I was doing it in December, right? Same scenario in present, but this one is with the version in past, okay? Okay, before we continue reading, everybody has to make 2 sentences in past progressive to speak about a temporary situation in the past, okay? Like the ones I just told you. I was learning to swim in last December. I was learning to swim last December. Or I was working as a cashier in October, okay? Or for example, I was living in Colombia for 1 week last year. I was living in Colombia for 1 week last year, okay? So you have to write 2 sentences using this scenario in past progressive. Temporary situations at a specific time. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to write your sentences. This is individual again, right? Everyone has to create the sentence. All right, let's read the sentences for the ones that cannot participate because of the rain. So we have two from, I see one from the one whom Juan Carlos Herrera said, I was programming in the new project 2 months ago. Okay, good. My son Jean was playing piano in a concert last Friday. Yes, very specific temporary situation. Then we go, Mauricio says, I was working as a manager last year. Very good, Mauricio. When I was 15 years old, I was training to win a race. Perfect, you got it, guys. Jorge says, I was running last Sunday morning. Yes. Carlos says, I was learning to play guitar when I was 10 years old. Perfect, Carla. Jorge says, my sister was working in the bank last year in June. So there you go, guys. You got it. This is the other scenario. You can use past progressive to speak about temporary situations happening in the past. The only requirement when you do this is that you specify the time when that was happening, right? Okay, so we gotta read a scenario number 3. Scenario number 3, please. Who was supposed to read scenario number 3? Oh, we have more sentences. Let me check. In the chat we have Mayra says, my husband was cooking the dinner when I arrived. Okay, that one is for the first scenario. Yeah, Mayra. Your mother was cleaning the house when my father called her. Yes, that's the first scenario, Mayra. Then we have Cesar. At 9 p.m., I was receiving my English class. Yes, that's the current one. And number 2, today at 6 a.m., I was trying to get up. Yes, that is correct, Cesar. Okay, very good, guys. You got perfect. The difference between each of the scenarios. It's the same structure, but you use it to speak about different things, right? Let's go with the third scenario, please. Who was supposed to read it? I don't remember who was.
Number 3, me,
okay.
teacher.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Habitual action in the past, usually with adverbs like always. Use the past continuous tense to talk about an action that used to be done frequently in the past but is not done in the present. This form is usually used with adverbs and adverb phrases, specifically ones that suggest the action was done a lot, like thus listed below, all the time, always, constantly, continuously and continually, forever, perpetually, and the entire time.
Thank you. All right. So the third scenario where we can use this is habitual actions in the past, right? You know, like in present progressive or simple present, you use it to speak about your daily routine, things that happen all the time, that happen sometimes, etc. Right? In past progressive, you could also use this as a structure. You can use this tense, past progressive, to talk about repetitive or habitual things that used to happen in the past, right? And you can use time frequency adverbs, always, all the time, constantly, continuously, continually, the entire time, etc. Right? And I think there was an example. Oh, I'm sorry, Jorge, there was more. This word also in this one.
Okay. You can also use the main adverbs of frequency, rarely, seldom, sometimes, occasionally, often, frequently, usually. Past continuous tense example. As a baby, my brother was always making a mess. My first years of a college, I was working spelling mistakes all the time. She was forever trying to impress her crush.
All right. So we have the example here. It's same structure. Subject, verb to be in past, and the verb in progressive, right? The only thing is that in this case, you're going to add a frequency adverb to specify. For example, as a baby, my brother was always making a mess, okay? My first year of college, I was making spelling mistakes all the time. She was forever trying to impress her crush. right? You can use in this scenario in particular, you can use frequency adverbs, right? To specify how often or with what frequency that action was happening. For example, when I was younger, I was always eating junk food all the time. I was always eating junk food. I was never taking care of the food that I ate. When I was younger, I was always eating junk food, right? Um, Listen to the difference, right? If I say when I was younger, I was eating junk food, it doesn't make sense because it's like maybe you want to say you ate junk food sometimes, right? But in this case, if I use the frequency adverb, it makes it look like it happens frequently, repetitively in the past, but it's not happening nowadays. It doesn't continue into the present, right? So past progressive using a frequency adverb to speak about repetitive actions that happen in the past, that were happening in the past. For example, last year I was constantly going to the doctor. Last year I was constantly going to the doctor. In that case, I'm saying that I was going multiple times during the year, right? It's not that I was going the whole year, but it happened multiple times. Last year, I was constantly going to the doctor because I was always getting sick last year. Okay, so same 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 exercise. You're going to write two sentences using this scenario. Okay, write two sentences using habitual actions in the past with frequency adverbs. Okay. Remember that the frequency adverbs, you can use them at the beginning or you can use them at the end of the sentence, right? For example, she was forever trying to impress her crush. They use it at the beginning, or you can use it at the end, right? I was making spelling mistakes all the time, right? Depending on which one you use, you can use it at the beginning or at the end, right? Make sure that it combines. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Make sure you write two sentences. Each person, each of you has to write two sentences using this combination with frequency adverbs in past progressive. I'll give you a few minutes. All right, let's read the sentences that you started sending. Okay, we have the one from one moment. Okay, Jose Romero. He was always eating during the trip. Yes, that's good. She was forever talking about her boyfriend. She is her boyfriend, yeah. And then Mauricio, we have, When I was a teenager, my older sister was always cooking a delicious tasty meal. Very good, Mauricio, yes. Juan Carlos. When I was a child, my mother was singing the cute song. Yes, was always singing the cute song. In my last work, I was eating at home all the time. Correct. You're using them nice, guys. And then Carla says, when I was young, I was always leaving in the afternoon. No, we don't have time. Mayra, when I was a new employee, I was arriving on time all the time. All right, very good, Mayra. And so success, I was always trying to learn English with my teacher. My uncle was constantly cooking the dinner to us. Very good. Perfect. So yes, guys, you understood the assignment. Yes, this is the other scenario, basically. From the five we have, this is the third one, right? Using past progressive to speak about repetitive actions in past. To do this, we combine past progressive with frequency adverbs, right? And then we're going with scenario number 4. Who was going to read that?
Me, teacher.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay.
Emphasizing.
Emphasizing how long a past action took. You can also use the past continuous tense, the emphasizing how long an action took. And lighting use how much time was spent doing. This form usually use adverb phrases that explain the length of time, such as all morning, afternoon, evening, all day, night, all week, month, year, for hours, days, weeks, months, years, the whole time. Past continuous tense examples. The players were training all year for this match. She was gardening all morning and missed the delivery. I was trying to complete the final level for hours.
All right. So the fourth scenario we have is to emphasize, yes, we're talking about a past action, but the main point is that we want to emphasize how long it lasted, right? Cuánto duró, how long it lasted, right? So we can use expressions of time. These are not frequency adverbs, these are expressions of time, okay? All morning, all afternoon, all evening, all day, all night, all week, all month, right? Or half of the month, half of the year, right? Or for that, for hours, for days, for weeks, for months, for years, or the whole time, right? Again, these are not frequency adverbs, these are called expressions of time. And in this scenario, we use them to emphasize how much time did it take, right? Also, if you don't want to use any of these, you can mention the amount of time. For example, for 3 hours, for 5 hours, etc., right? And you have the examples that Juan Carlos was reading, right? The players were training all year for this match. She was gardening all morning and missed the delivery, right? I was sleeping all afternoon yesterday and I didn't take my exam online, right? So yes, you can use this past progressive, same grammar, same structure, but in this case, you can also use it to emphasize how long a past action took, right? How long did it last? Again, if you don't want to use expression of time, you can use the amount of time, like a specific number of hours, etc., right? A specific number of days, like that. For this one, we're not gonna make sentences separately because they are similar to the first, to the second scenario, right? That for temporary situations. The only difference is that you use expressions of time, right? Like the sentences I told you. I was sleeping all afternoon yesterday, so I didn't take my exam online, right? So very similar to the other one. And last but not least, we have scenario number 5, setting the background for a story. Who was going to read this one? Who had number 5? Oh, Jonathan, please. Oh, good, Jose. Yes, it was raining all the night. Yes, we were working all the afternoon. Perfect. Yes, that's exactly the way you use them, right? You can use them with expressions. Let's go ahead and read number 5, Jonathan, please.
Okay. Okay. Sharing the background for a story. When telling a story or write one, you can use the past continuous tense to set the scene or describe exactly what was happening at the beginning of your story. When we use the past continuous tense because these actions were presumably already happening before the story began. Past continuous tense example. The birds were singing and the sun was shining. I knew I knew it would be a good day. Everyone at the cafe was enjoying their coffee. Then the stranger appeared. The singer was going about its business without knowing the audience had arrived.
Perfect, very good. So, when you're setting the background for a story, you can also use past progressive, all right? And it tells you, right, either when you're telling it or when you're writing it, right? You can use past continuous to set the scene. Like, this was happening, this scenario is very similar to the one that we use conjunctions, right? When, until, after, this is very similar, okay? And you have the examples there. The birds were singing and the sun was shining. I knew it would be a good day. In this case, you are not using any conjunction. You are just mentioning something in past progressive, and then you mention something in simple past, right? For example, at 5 a.m. this morning, my bunny was jumping in my bunny, my pet rabbit. At 5 a.m. this morning, my rabbit was jumping on my bed. I knew I had to feed him, right? At 5 a.m. this morning, my rabbit was jumping on my bed. So I knew I had to feed him. So I'm starting to tell you a story, but I'm setting the background, telling it in past progressive, right? So you can use it to start a story in past. Use past progressive, and then you continue in simple past, as you prefer, right? So here's what we're gonna be doing right now. First of all, I'm going to take attendance because I almost forget again. So I'm going to take attendance. Please be ready when I call your names, and then I'll tell you the activity, all right? Carlos Vladimir Rodriguez, Dairo Jonathan Fuentes, Eduardo Antonio Magaña.
Vladimir Rodríguez, present, teacher.
Thank you, Vladimir. Emerson Ulises Monroy.
Present, miss.
Thank you. Fátima Gabriela Loza. Jonathan José González. Thank you. Jorge Antonio Sánchez.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. José Bernardo López.
Present.
Thank you. José Carlos Argueta.
Present.
Thank you. José César Lemos.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Juan Carlos Herrera Delgado.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Juan José Herrera Alvarenga.
Present.
Thank you. Carla Sofía Argueta.
Present.
Thank you. Kenia Elizabeth Rodríguez.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Mauricio Antonio Velázquez. Mayra Cecilia Peña.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Nelly Lilibeth Andrade.
Present.
Thank you. Sandra Abigail Bonilla. And Wendy Marisela Ramirez. And it says Fatima Gabriela present. Okay. Thank you, Fatima. All right. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to go into the breakout rooms and you're going to create a conversation. It's going to be a free topic. Okay. So it's not necessarily about business or warehouse or anything. Don't do it about that. Do a free topic as you prefer, the scenario that you prefer. The only requirement is that you use simple past and past progressive, okay, in your conversation. You can either tell a story and have a conversation or have a conversation between two people, right? You can create a story and read it with all the participants reading one portion, or you can make a conversation, right? The only requirement, again, is that you guys use simple past and past progressive. And if you can use all the scenarios we saw, fine. But if you cannot, at least one or two of the scenarios, right, that we saw. The rooms are open right now, so you can go in and you're gonna have 15 minutes for this one, okay? Las salas están abiertas, pueden ingresar, van a tener 15 minutos. Es conversación de tema libre, solo necesitan usar simple past y past progressive en esta actividad, ¿ok? Pueden ingresar a la sala, por favor. Hello.
Hello. Um, we can't share the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me one moment, please. You should be able to do it right now.
Yes.
Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Jorge, ¿con quién estaba trabajando en la sala 1?
Con Mayra. Bueno, alcancé a ver que Mayra se había conectado.
Mayra está por ahí.
Sorry.
Lo voy a agregar a la
Sí,
sala.
again,
Ok.
que voy llegando a casa. Lo siento.
Ok. La voy a mover de sala a la sala 2, pero no vaya a aceptar todavía, Mayra, ya le digo, porque usted es en la 1 que está. Ahora sí, ya puede. Ujú.
Ok.
Ahí está, Jorge. Ujú. Les voy a dar 5 minutos más hasta las 20 para que ustedes tengan 10 minutos para hacerla, ¿ok? All right. So we have everyone back, almost everyone. And all right, now we're all here. We're gonna begin with the first conversation. We're gonna start with room number 3 because room number 1, did you finish your conversation, Mayra? Jorge?
Yes, teacher.
All right, so we're gonna start with room number 1, Mayra and Jorge. Go ahead.
Okay.
Right.
Hello, Jorge. I am sorry, I have problem with save the class. Could you tell me what topic you received yesterday?
Hi, Mayra. Sure. Well, yesterday we were studying the present continuous and we were watching the video.
Oh, thank you very much. I will look for the topic to learn. Could you tell me what the video was about?
Sure. The video was interesting because we were learning how to work in a warehouse and explain the different tools they use for the system of inventory.
Oh, it has been a very interesting video. I will try to connect on time the next days. I have had a difficult leaving work early.
Yes, it's very difficult because we were working too late.
Yes, but I try to connect on time the next day.
Okay, Mayra, it's nice. See you.
All
That's all.
right, very good, Jorge, Mayra. That was a really nice conversation. Very real life related. All right, thank you. Now we're gonna listen to room number 3. We have Juan Carlos Herrera and Nelly Lily. Please, go ahead.
Okay, Lilibet, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Nelly, how are you?
Hi, Juan. I'm okay, and you?
I'm very fine, thanks. Tell me about your scholarship in Italy.
It was amazing. That was the best experience in my life. I knew different cities and I learned a lot.
Okay. Before you were traveling to Italy, did you study something special here?
Yes, I was studying interior design for a while.
Well, it is amazing. Congratulations. Do you have any plans to practice your new knowledge in Italy?
Yes, I was thinking of starting my own business.
Oh, that's great. It's best wish for you. If you need some partner, tell me, okay?
Can you repeat, please?
Okay. It's good. If you need a partner in your project, tell me, okay?
Oh, okay, of course. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, very well applied. I like how you use the different simple past and past progressive to explain the scenarios, right? Very good, guys. Thank you, Nelly, Juan Carlos. Now we're gonna listen to room number 4, and here we have Emerson Ulises and Carla Sofia. Please go ahead, guys.
Okay. Hola.
Hello.
Your star, Emerson.
Okay. Hi, Carla. How's it going?
So far, so good.
Why? What happened?
Uh, I was broken the coffee maker cup and I had not been able to find it. You know where I can get it?
Well, I bought mine in online.
Oh, it's a good idea because the brand is Mr. Coffee, but it's an American brand and no spare part for this brand are sold in this country. I don't know why to do, but you have a great idea.
So sad.
I will buy the coffee maker in Amazon because I got the same brand. And thank you so much for the recommendation.
Okay, Carl, anytime.
All right, Carla, Emerson. I like how you use totally different topic and applying one of the scenarios where you can use it, right? So very good. Thank you. And now we're gonna listen to room number 5. We have Cesar Lemos and Jose Romero. Go ahead.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Hi, Cesar. How was your day, brother?
Hi, Jose. It was a good day because at 8 a.m. I was starting my work, but I worked for 3 hours and I'm tired. But tell me, how was your day? Because I called you 3 times at 2 p.m., but you didn't answer me. What happened?
Oh,
Everything's fine?
oh, sorry. I was working all the afternoon in a meeting with my boss, but tell me what's happening. How may I help you?
Oh no, the call was because I talked with my uncle yesterday, and we were planning to go to the beach, and we want to invite you. I don't know if you want to go with us.
Hey, perfect. It sounds great. I was working until night, so tomorrow I will get free time. Where are we going to?
Okay, we want to go to Los Cobanos Beach. I don't know if do you want to go?
Oh, last week I was traveling to Los Cobanos, but the traffic in Los Chorros is awful. We have to go as soon as possible at the morning.
What time?
I don't know what you're thinking about 4 a.m.
I don't know if do you want go at 4 or 5 a.m.
Nice.
Okay, Jose. I will see you in Galerías Small at 4 a.m. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay. I see you tomorrow.
See you.
All right, very
Okay,
good, guys. Well executed, different switches, right? When you were making the changes from present, simple past to past progressive, depending on the context, right? So very good, well done. All right, so now we're gonna go to the student's manual, guys. On page 26, and we're talking about warehousing, right? Let me know when you can see the screen, please. So we have building vocabulary exercise. We have these two, and you're going to match the description to the correct one in here. So I need 2 volunteers to read, please. One person is going to read letter A, and the other one is going to read letter B, and tell me if you think it's this one or if it's this one. Cesar, help us letter A, please. And Mayra with letter B, please.
Okay, warehouse management is the control of the day-to-day operation of a warehouse, such as the shipping, receiving, by the way, and picking of goods. It is the same as stock control.
Okay, so before Mayra reads, okay, we have So warehouse management, it says control of the day-to-day operations of a warehouse, such as shipping, receiving, put away, and picking goods. Which one of these two do you think it is? Do you think it's this one or this one? You're in mute. Perfect.
And I think usually where data are in order, wait, they need to be because I don't know if you many people that happen. It means you know how many of a particular product you have and when to order more.
Okay, and now let's check letter B, Mayra, please.
Okay, stock control is a way to maximize profit by getting inventory right. Our warehouse management is a way to maximize
Maximize.
the efficiency,
Efficiency.
maximize the efficiency and
Effectiveness.
effectiveness of warehouse operation. I think is the second.
Okay. Let's see. We have two options. The first one says it tells you where the items are, well, where the items are in, and the order in which they need to be picked. I think that is warehouse management. And then stock control, it says way to maximize profit by getting inventory right. And warehouse management is to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of warehouse operation. I think B is this one. It means you know how many of a particular product you have and when to order more. Because that's part of stock, right? Your stock, you have to know how much you have or how many you have, right? Okay, we're gonna move forward and then we have this one. Building vocabulary. The following are basic types of warehouses. Okay, now I know you think, oh yes, the warehouse is a place where you store things and that's it. Well, there are different, I think there are 7 different types of warehouses that one can select, right? Not all the warehouses work in the same way. So in this, we have 3 different ones. So I'm going to need volunteers to read, please. This one, you're only going to read the name of the warehouse, the type of the warehouse, and the description. Do we have volunteers to read? Just to Emerson, please help us with holding warehouse. Carla, please help us with distribution center. And we need one more person for cross-docking center. Just to read this part. Mayra, please help us reading number 3. Go ahead, Emerson.
Holding warehouse. It can be named a terminal or sorting center. The focus is only on receiving and shipping activities with a little to no storage.
Number 2.
A distribution center, traditional warehouse whose space is used for temporal and long-term storage.
Thank you. And number 3. You're in mute, Mayra. The microphone, Mayra. I think, oh, I think she's having internet problems because her screen is frozen. Jorge, could you help us with number 3, please?
Okay, cross-docking
Cross-docking center. It served large region.
Go ahead, Mayra.
Okay. Cross-docking center.
Oh, I think she got disconnected. Let me see. Oh, no, there she is. Mayra, you are in mute.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Go ahead, please. Ahora, Mayra. Se le congeló la pantalla. Ok. Mayra, lo vamos a dejar así porque parece que tiene problemas de Inter, así que perdón, Jorge, si nos ayuda.
Okay, teacher. Cross docking center. It serves larger regions and goods are stored shorter time. Most of it is used for picking and consolidation orders.
Correct. Thank you. So, as I was telling you guys, there are like 7 or 9, 10 types of warehousing services. Not all the warehouses work in the same way and not for the same type of business. In here, you are looking at 3 different types. These are 3 of the basic types of warehouses, right? Holding warehouse, right? Which is like a sorting center where they separate and select, right? And they only focus on receiving the cargo and on shipping activities, right? They don't focus on storing for long periods of time. They receive the cargo, they ship it. They don't store it necessarily, right? That's a holding warehouse. Then they have the distribution center, which is another of the basic services of warehouses. And it's like, in this case, the space of the warehouse is used for temporal and long-term storage. They don't focus so much on shipping or in receiving. They only focus on keeping, on storing for long periods of time or temporary, right? And then we have the cross-docking center, right? This is for bigger regions, right? For larger regions. Usually the goods or the products are stored shorter time, all right? These are used for picking and consolidation orders. These are like intermediate point warehouses, right? Like it's coming from an example, it's coming from Santa Ana, but this has to go to another department and it's going to pass by San Salvador. The cross-docking center is a warehouse in the middle between Santa Ana and San Salvador. It's in the middle and it's like, okay, we're bringing the things from Santa Ana in one truck and then we're discharging here and we're loading another truck with the same cargo to finish the trip. So it's like a transition, like a transference center, the cross-docking one, right? Those are the 3 basic, the most basic warehouse services that there are. So what you guys are going to do right now is to work on exercise number 6, okay? For exercise number 6, it says it says prepare a presentation describing the type of warehouse service that you would need to match the business strategy of your company. Okay, so you're going to imagine, you're going to invent that you have a company, a business in particular. It can be anything, food, services, products, right? You're going to decide. And you can use the 3 warehouses type that you have in the book, right? You can use one of those, 1 or 2, whichever you prefer. You're going to select one and you're going to describe which type of warehouse works best for your business, right? So again, we're gonna recreate the rooms, just bear with me for a minute. Okay, so the rooms are open now. You can go in and you're gonna have 10 minutes for this one. Pueden ingresar a las salas, van a tener 10 minutos para la actividad 6. ¿Ok? Pueden utilizar las 3 que están aquí en la actividad 5. Seleccionen una, desarrollenla y expliquen bien por qué la utilizarían. ¿Qué tiene de eso de bueno para su negocio? ¿Ok? ¿Cómo le serviría o cómo no? Right? Pueden ingresar a las salas, tienen 10 minutos. Let's go into the breakout rooms, please. Okay, everyone's returning right now. Let's see. Okay, we're all back. We're gonna listen to the first conversation in this, and it's gonna be, well, the first activity. It's gonna be the first group, number 2. It's Emerson, Mayra, and Nelly Lily. Go ahead. Emerson, Mayra, Nelly.
Uh,
Hello. And we choose La Constancia company
All right.
because they have their own brands, and we think that the best business strategy for that company is distribution center, because it's traditional warehouse, and that space they can storage their own product, and then the other little store can buy from them and do the transportation for
themselves.
their business. Yes.
By themselves. All right.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Yeah. In that case, they are liberating themselves from the problem of distributing it. They just take it to the warehouse, they keep it there, and then if somebody needs it, they go and buy from them directly, right?
Yes.
All right. Nice decision. I think that's a good one. Very, very accurate. Thank you. Rule number 2. Thank you, Nelly. All right. We're gonna listen to room number 4 right now. We have Jorge Antonio and Juan Carlos Herrera. Please.
Well, teacher, we talk about our experience because I asked to my partner. I work for a multinational company, and we use the 3 types for the warehouse. In El Salvador, we use the holding warehouse because we keep our raw material for the work. We make the children's clothing, and our product to ship to the United States. We work for the Walmart in the United States, and I explained to my partner in the United States, we use in the company the distribution centers and the cross-docking centers. Sometimes we use the cross-docking center because in the United States, this process to shipping is very expensive because the salary is a lot, and this process is very difficult because, for example, we ship a product to Miami and send to the Chicago. The cost for transportation is very expensive for us. The most used in the United States is the distribution center because we ship week by week, more or less 30,000-40,000 dozens each plant in El Salvador for a distribution center, and then the distribution centers send for the Walmart. That is our client. And talk about what is the different activities for the different warehouse for our company.
All right. Very good, Jorge. That's a good description as well, right? Sometimes there are scenarios where a company doesn't use only one type of warehouse service. They use 2 or multiple, right? Depending on their necessities. A very good description, very accurate, Jorge. Thank you for sharing. And last but not least, we're gonna listen to Cesar, Jose, and Carla. Go ahead.
Hey, Carla has a great presentation.
Okay. No sé. No, we choose the distribution center, and we have maybe the step about this style of distribution. For example, the first, take a order, then package the products and send the courier, and then receive the product. I don't know if Cesar can help me.
Okay, teacher. We select a company with a distribution center, and we prepared a presentation with the different step. And after to the step to Carla said, it's to planning the road to get the product or entregar el producto. After deliver the product, yes. After that, it's to running with the road to the customer, and the last step will be deliver the product to the final customer. That was the step to our company, and just that.
All right, very good. Very thorough explanation, step by step, on how you would do it after you chose, right? Very good. Thank you to everyone who participated. Very good job. All right, guys, before we go, I'm gonna take attendance. So please be ready, say here or present when you hear your name. We're going with Carlos Vladimir Rodriguez, Dairo Jonathan Fuentes, Eduardo Antonio Magaña, Emerson Ulises Monroy.
Present, miss.
Thank you. Fátima Gabriela Loza, Jonathan José González.
Present.
Thank you. Jorge Antonio Sánchez.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. José Bernardo López.
Present.
Thank you. José Carlos Argueta.
Present.
Thank you. José César Lemos.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Juan Carlos Herrera Delgado.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Juan José Herrera Alvarenga.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Carla Sofía Argueta.
Present.
Thank you. Kenia Elizabeth Rodríguez. Mauricio Antonio Velázquez.
Present, teacher.
Thank you. Mayra Cecilia Peña.
Present.
Thank you. Nelly Lilibeth Andrade.
Present.
Thank you. Sandra Abigail Bonilla. And Wendy Marisela Ramirez. Okay. So guys, before you go, try to work on the platform. And I'm gonna say this in Spanish so nobody says I didn't understand or anything. Tenemos a partir del lunes, nos quedan 8 clases para terminar el módulo, solo la otra semana y 3 días de la siguiente, eso es todo. Así que traten de avanzar lo más que puedan en la plataforma. Si tienen alguna actividad donde la dejaron muy bajita, con menos de 96, háganla de nuevo la tarea, tómenla de nuevo para que les suba el promedio, ¿ok? Para que no se vayan con un promedio bajo, ¿ok? Solamente eso. Have a great weekend. I hope you get some rest. And I will see you all on Monday. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
day.
Good night.
Bye.
Good
Good
night.
night. If anyone wants to stay for assessment, let me know. Otherwise, you can go to sleep. Have some rest.